So today we are going to discuss a very most important topic, that is one belt one road, known as OBOR and Belt and Road Initiative. So before starting, first we look at that what things we are going to discuss in this video. First we will discuss that what is the OBOR and its map. Then second, we will discuss about the impact, that how it impact world, how it affect world, and how it affect our country India. And then we will discuss about way forward, crux. And so let's get started. So first we will talk about what the OBOR. OBOR is China's project to aimed to improve connectivity and cooperation among Eurasian countries, because it is connecting Asia and Europe, so we can use the term Eurasian. And the second thing about it, that it connects 68 countries, which is a very large amount of countries, and that will cover 40% of the GDP, world's GDP. So it is the big amount. OBOR execute infrastructure projects in those connected country and also improve trade. So as we discussed, that if the China develop infrastructure in that country, so what the main aim is to develop trade relation between those country and to barrier free trade between this country. So in history we can see that in the medieval period there was a silk route from China to other countries. For what? Because it is used to trade silk, because in that time the silk was produced only in China, so China was used silk route to export its silk on that time. So what the aim of this BRI, that China is trying to revive silk route, that is saying China only. And one belt is land route formed by OBOR, called as Silk Road Economic Belt. So OBOR, there is two part of OBOR. First we can say that is land road, which connects rail lines and roads, and the second is maritime. So this is used for shipping. So land route is known as Silk Road Economic Belt. You should remember about that. And the second, the one road, which is known as one belt one road. We can divide the word into two parts. One belt is the road which is known as road or railway track, which is known as Silk Road Economic Belt, and one road is maritime Silk Road known as. So if we see, this is the map, so this is the land routes. So we can say that it is one belt, and what is known as, it is Silk Road Economic Belt, and the sea route is known as maritime Silk Road. So these are two things, and we can see in the map that it is connected Asia to Europe. So we can say that it is aimed to connecting Eurasian countries in order to provide good trade. But let's see that if we can see in this map that it is from Chongjiang to European Union, and the all things are covered. But what we can see, that it is trying to encircle India. So we will talk later part of it, this video, about it, that how it affect our country. So by this you can see that map, that how it is connecting the world, and how China is trying to make such a infrastructure project in the world. So how it affect the world. So first we talk about the important thing. For from my personal perspective, I am not that it is good, but if we can see that China is aim to provide this project, so it can be good if it will be implemented in a good manner. But China is not doing so. But we can see the 4 points, that infrastructure project will be executed on a large scale in the countries that are included in OBOR. Because if China is developing infrastructure, so if we want to develop a route, so it have to develop infrastructure on that country. China is assuring peace in West Asia. China is saying only that we will be do these things in peaceful manner, and we will assure a peace. And this OBOR will help in reviving, improve economy in West Asian region, and revive job opportunity to them. many peoples. And China promised to transfer its knowledge in agriculture, water conservation and engineering to the developing country. That China is promised, but I don't think that China will do this. Through OBOR, immense job opportunity will be created in the connected countries for local people. That is China saying. These are only promise. China claims that OBOR will speed up globalization, but I think it will speed up more communistism in the world, despite the globalization. It is my thoughts. You can change with respect to your. And the against point, critics argue that OBOR is started to sell Chinese project to the developing country. As a result of decreased exports, many manufactured products are built up by China. So this is the most important concept, because China is a hub of global manufacturing. So if it connect this route, like OBOR type route, so what will happen, the cost of Chinese the product will extremely reduce in that country, and there will be a flood of Chinese products on in that country which is connected to OBOR, and that will hardly and very affect the economy of that country, very hardly, I mean very affect that country. And if OBR is successful, China may emerge as a superpower and can control developing countries. This may lead to neo-colonialism. So the term neo-colonialism is used to that China is a developed country. No, it is emerged as a developed country, and there is another country which is a developing country. So if China giving debt to that countries, because in earlier time that colonialism is known as that one country overpower another country by its military power and other thing, but no, this is not possible because of UN. So what is the new term come, that is neo-colonialism. What in this term, what is happen, that a developed country invest in a developing country, give debt to a developing country, and in the sometime if the developing country are not able to repay the debt, then the developed country take control of the markets of the developing country, and that will harm the developing country. So it is known as neo-colonialism. China may focus only on profit. Yes, this is the most important thing, that China see only the profit. It doesn't see that anything else, and many not care of the local development needs in the country, because it's trying to flood up its product in that countries. That's all. In in earlier we can see that in African infrastructure project, what is the China done, that China recruited only Chinese people. There was no opportunity to the local peoples. If this process is repeated in all projects associated with OBR, developing countries will be at loss, because the road is building constructing in their countries, and even their people are not getting jobs. So what is the and the third thing is that China may monopolize the valuable mineral reserve in the connected countries. For example, Afghanistan has a copper, iron, gold and silver. If there is a route, so what China do, China can be monopolize the minerals and of that country, and that will harm that country. And next is, many of the countries that are included in OBR have political instability and corruption. What we see, that Afghanistan, Pakistan, these type of countries has political instability. So with these loopholes, there are less chances that projects can successful, that might be failed. And because if you see that earliest Chinese invasion Sri Lanka and Myanmar failed. So what is Sri Lanka? Hambantota port, we can see that was failed, and the Hambantota airport, known as the world's emptiest airport. So those investments are totally failed. So because of political instability in Sri Lanka, so this may come in OBOR also. And developing countries may get trapped in huge debts. Yes, it is also in Sri Lanka. If you see that Hambantota port developed by China, and Sri Lanka was not able to repay the debt, so what is happened, and the Sri Lanka become strict in the debt trap, and Sri Lanka have to give its strategically important Hambantota port to lease to China for 99 years. So it is one of the China's aggressive policies, it is debt traps. We will talk about the other policies of China in next video which is coming, you must see, that are provided by China for the infrastructure projects. So conclusion, the concept of OBOR is good, but the way of implementation will reveal the true intention of the OBR. As I mentioned earlier, as long as the sovereignty of countries is protected, healthy cooperation among the countries will yield positive results. But is China doing this? No, I don't think that China will do this thing. So last most important point, that is how it affect India. So China's project of negative impacts. First we talk about negative, and there is some positive also, but hardly. China's project of ports, naval bases and surveillance posts in Indian Ocean will encircle India, as I mentioned earlier, string of pearls. This commonly called as string of pearls. Yes. China-Pakistan Eco CPEC flagship project and the mega OBOR initiative passes through Pak-occupied Kashmir, which is the part of Indian territory and illegally occupied by Pakistan. So this step of China undermines India's sovereignty, and this also violates Panchsheel agreement, because in that China promised not to interfere in India's internal matter. And next is China may take control of the developing countries through its investment. This may affect trade relation, because if neocolonialism arise in that country, so that thing will affect India relation with that countries, and that thing will happen. If India joins OBOR, Chinese company may supervise the project in India. Under OBOR, this will be a minus, because Chinese companies may not create employment opportunities for the local, but because they don't care about the locals, they care about them positive, but hardly. But I'm mentioning that if you want to something see in the positive, you can mention that India's major drawback is lack of infrastructure. If India partners with OBOR, it can utilize China's investment and technology, but it is hardly, because China's policy is expansion and India don't agree with that. And if India becomes a part of our trade relation with the Eurasian country will improve. India should try separately about that, not with connecting with any countries, because if you see that India is also trying to develop its roads in Afghanistan and port in Iran. I forget about the name, you can mention in the comment section below. I think that was Chabahar port. Yes. So these things are India can do. So conclusion, the main conclusion, that despite of being encircled by Chinese project, India is powerful enough to sustain its influence in the world politics. Hence there is no need to worry about OBOR, but India should be strict in case of China ignoring its sovereignty. By taking advantage of OBR, India can overcome its major drawback of lack of infrastructure. It can't be happened. India have to work its own to develop infrastructure. And let's talk about the crux of this whole thing, that China want to become a global power by its investment and aggressive policies, and want to isolate India, because as I mentioned in the early video, that if a country want to become a global power, it have to become first a regional power, and China is trying to do this by OBOR. Because if we see our neighboring countries, Nepal is the part of OBOR, Thailand is the part of OBOR, Myanmar is the part of OBOR, Sri Lanka is the part of OBOR, Maldives is the part of OBOR. So all the neighboring countries of India is the part of OBOR except Bhutan. That is supporting India. So these things are expressing concern of India, that the neighboring countries of India is tilting toward China because of its projects, that the investment. But the main crux of these are debt trap. We can see what's happened with Sri Lanka. So next topic is CPEC, most important, you must see. Thank you for watching. Like and share, subscribe. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.